We're replacing the clears on the existing bimini. So I'll put a patch on the top, and if you shine a light through the back, you can match up the patch from the back. So they all go in. They look really good.
What are you up to?
I'm fixing the headsail because a lot of the stitching's come undone, so I'm just running the sewing machine over it and fixing bits.
Cool.
Yeah.
Getting ready. What are we getting ready for?
To go to the Kimberley.
Yeah. Can't wait.
So we've got so many things we've got to get done. This is just a tiny bit, and then I'm doing a whole load of sewing with fender covers and echo sounder cover.
All sorts of covers.
Seats, loads to sew.
And you've got another 4 sales to go.
Yeah.
So busy.
Yeah, very busy. Just reinforcing the stitching on this. I'm going over the sail and finding any holes and putting these little miniature patches on them just to make sure everything is ship shape. That's another one finished.
Oh.
Working my way along the outside. What's this edge called?
Luff.
Luff edge. I've got a patch coming up there. And then the luff. And then down here somewhere there's a really long stretch of extra sailcloth that we put in from our trailer sailor sail somewhere. This little old sail, so I've stolen bits off this one. A little hole there, so I'll put a patch on the top, and if you shine a light through the back, you can match up the patch from the back with the corners like that, and then line it up, and it goes on exactly the same spot, and then you can just zigzag around the edge. Magnus told me that. Hints and tips. We're replacing the clears on the existing bimini. We're not actually making a new bimini, we're just making do with what we've got. So I've just marked up the tops and the bottoms and the port and the starboard. I'm going to run a pen all the way down the edge here, take all the stitching out, take the clears out, the old clears out, and then use that as a template to make the new clears. So we'll see how it goes because they're pretty dead. And we've got to move these holes. So it's quite a big job. The clears are at the post office. I'll go and pick them up tomorrow. So I want to have this ready for when they arrive. This is probably the most damaged one. And that got hit when we crossed the Pacific, I think. One of the storms anyway. So soon we'll be able to see out for the first time ever. I'm unstitching the acrylic, well, the clears. I don't know if they're acrylic. It looks like there's a bias that's been made to go here after they've put the clears on. Looks like it's been put on with double-sided tape, and then this bias tape or covering tape has been added after on top because it's stuck on. See? So yeah, it's quite tricky to pull apart. Anyway, so far so good. Oh, on the other side is just the housing bit there. So we'll keep that. I might make new bias. I don't know. I'll see how it survives. Yeah. Okay, that's where I'm up to. That's what it looks like when it's taken out. So I might pop to the post office now and grab a bit of this. Cut it. Use my double-sided tape. Pop it in. Tidy up all the little stitches and glue and everything. And then sew it and see what happens. And this is what the housing bit looks like. And this is what it looks like on the other side. Pretty simple. So it's just stuck on. That's folded over. Just like that. And then the clear goes in the middle, and then a bias goes on the outside. Oh. This is getting a little bit tricky. I'm trying to make the pattern for the new acrylics, or clears, but because this is a very thin sort of frame, it's got a lot of movement. Now, I did keep the old ones, but because they're so damaged, it's actually quite difficult to work out how to line it all up. So I'm not quite sure how forgiving the fit is on the boat. So I might just do one and then see if it fits on the boat before I do all the rest, because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them to do. So I've matched it up as best I can. So there's not a lot of light coming through here. But like I said, because it's all ripped apart, it's a bit dodgy in places. So anyway, give it a go. I'm working with what I've got here. We've got a little bit left over, a bit of an odd bit of material left over from one of the covers from something. So I haven't got much to work with. I've got to fill up this hole and make a new hole because the structure's changed a bit. So the pole, or whatever you call it, is in a different place, support. So I've made these 2 bias strips and stuck them together with the good old double-sided sticky tape. Now normally bias binding is cut on a bias so that it stretches, but I haven't got that luxury, so I've had to just do it on the straight cut. So it's going to be quite tricky to get that to actually bend around there, but I'll do my best. There might be a few pleats in it, but we'll see how we get on. So that goes on there, and I've managed to use a little bit of the old fabric which had a stud on it, so I'm going to put that on there like that. Then I'm going to sew all this down here to join it together, because we're not making this so that you can open it, so just basically sewing it all down, so it's all going to become one piece. And then to attach it we just take the what's that thing called, can't remember the name of it, off, and pop this through the steel, and then put the whatever it's called back on again. So that's where I'm at. Well, that bit's done. We've now got 1 piece instead of 2. I've just got to do it on the other side. This is the other side. So this is the old hole. This is the new hole, and we don't want the zips, so I'm going to take the zips out. Yeah, a few mods to do to this one. And then I've somehow got to manage to sew the plastics in this massive thing. We're getting rid of the middle bit completely. So we're going to have 1 big sheet of plastic across the middle there. So that's going, that bit there is going. So I've somehow got to cut that off and then hem it back. And same at the top, I guess. Yeah, just leave the zip. All right, moving on. What's going on?
Yeah, it's filling with water. So we've just taken it for a first spin with the gearbox repaired, and everything worked. A bit slow because I think she's got a bit of growth on her, but it's the first time she's moved for months.
Happening?
Starting to make some curry to take with us to the Kimberley. So we're going to make some curries up and then can them.
And how many jars are you making?
7.
7 1 litre jars?
7 1-quart jars, which is a litre, same thing, yeah.
Yeah. These are the tried and tested ingredients. You've got the old tandoori curry paste, madras curry paste, onions, garlic, canned tomatoes, coriander. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
And chicken breast, chicken thigh. And these are the new jars that we've got. We've got them in Big W, 945 ml. That's a lot of curry. Oh yeah, there you go. So that's a bit of tandoori. Tomatoes are in. Onions frying. It's looking good. It smells amazing. Just gotta let it all cook down and render and do its magic. This is only half the quantity. Managed to do a test with chicken. So here's Magnus's test with the chicken, and it shrinks so much that you need to cram as much as you possibly can in each jar. This one is thigh pieces, raw, one of the test subjects, and look, it shrinks so much. So this time Magnus is cooking it and reducing it as much as possible so that we have more in there. Jars are getting sterilised. Curries are cooking down nicely. That's half of the batch. Yeah. Woo! Curry's now ready to start canning. So that is in there. And then you put the lid on and put it back in there. For how long?
75 minutes.
I don't think all of it's going to make it into the jars somehow. It might get nibbled. Look at that. That is pure heaven. That looks so good. And of course it will cook more in the canner, so it will do the rendering in the canner, won't it?
Yeah. Firm, firm, firm.
So they all go in with a bit of freeboard.
So they don't rattle around, put an empty one in the middle. Here we go, ready? Popped up.
Look at that.
There you go, popped up.
Waiting for 10 psi.
Yep. Cooked for an hour and a quarter.
And that goes.
Yep.
An hour and a half later. Hard to tell. They look really good. They're still bubbling away.
Oh, they will be for another hour.
Oh my goodness. Next time we open these, we'll be in the Kimberley.